Hey guys, Jordan here, and in this video we're going to be talking about videography settings, so let's get into it. Alright, on my channel I talk about real estate photography, so if that's something you're interested in, then make sure to subscribe. Today's video comes from Nick, question comes from Nick DeGuano, or comment. On a video I made shooting 4K 60 with the A7 IV for real estate videos. He says, I've been shooting 4K 24 using the Laowa 12mm on my Sony A7C. Love the look and so do my clients, but it destroys my back moving so slowly since I can't slow it down in post. I just upgraded to the A7 IV and Laowa 9mm in order to keep similar look, but get that ability to slow it down in post, hoping that saves my back a bit. That said, I have noticed a slight quality drop from the 12mm to the 9mm. Not a huge deal, especially after you upload to YouTube or Instagram, but worth mentioning. Yeah, for me, you know, the A7 IV, I'm not a huge fan of the crop shooting, but it definitely is a solution if you gotta stick with 4K, you know, using a wider, you know, APS-C lens like the Laowa 9mm. Those manual lenses like that one that don't necessarily communicate with the, I think it's a full manual lens if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it could cause some barrel distortion depending, but anyways, I'm more of a fan of shooting 1080 60 because even any camera, most cameras made over the last 3 or 4 years have all have the ability to shoot 1080 60. Actually, that's probably been out for a while, and I think it's more important than to shoot 4K. I think today even shooting 4K isn't necessarily used all that much. Now, if that's something that you hang your hat on and your customers use 4K TVs and they need it the crisp, as crisp, but generally speaking, most people just are watching these videos on their cell phones and you really can't tell much of a difference between 1080p and 4K on a cell phone with such a small display. So I probably would have gone that route versus changing the camera, because the A7C is a great camera as well. There are some nice upgrades to the A7 IV, and it sounds like you have a nice little workaround with a wider Laowa 9mm lens. But anyways, those are just some additional options to kind of think about it. If you can get away shooting 1080p, typically your file sizes are a little smaller. In post-production, it's a little bit faster of a workflow. Also, if you are stuck shooting 4K 24 and you did move a little bit too fast, you can slow it down a bit, and if you're using Final Cut, and I think some of the other editing tools as well, you can use optical flow, and it will add frames for you, not necessarily with perfect results every single time, but it's a great option if you get stuck. If you're shooting a slower frame rate and you need to slow it down because you moved really fast. But yeah, I think it's worth saving your back. I think it's better to shoot 60, even 1080 60 versus 4K 24. Just my opinion. But it sounds like you do have a nice little workaround that works for you. Those are just some additional thoughts on the topic of shooting 60 frames per second. So anyways, that's it for this video. If you got value, hit the like button. Thanks again for your question. We'll see you guys on the next one.